What we're gonna do right here is go back, way back, back into time.
Let's go.
Oh, man, what's going on, guys? Hello. Welcome. It's been a few days. I am down in Texas, in central Texas, in Austin, so it's been a little crazy here, as you can imagine, the last couple days. Still no water in a lot of places. Finally getting a decent, stable electricity today, though, so thought I'm going to fire out a show real quick. If it does just cut off, though, y'all know why. They're rotating the power a lot, but today it's been okay. But before it does cut off again, let's go ahead and talk about some charts, because there's been lots of stuff to talk about. Of course, when it's been super hard for me to trade, my phone hasn't even been working on the internet very well. But today, it seems like a lot of stuff is back to normal, so that's nice. But yeah, it's like I haven't been able to manage anything, so luckily there hasn't been any crazy moves against my positions. Otherwise, I'd be really mad without being able to manage it. Kind of crazy. But hey, 'tis the times. It's all good. All right, let's just get into some chart action before I lose the power. All right, total market cap, Bitcoin, or of crypto, just steady rising and rising. Altcoins doing the same thing, looking really nice. You can see that over here. The Dodo token, apparently that's really important. It's only up 100% today. Some pretty good movers. Binance coin almost $200, pretty crazy. But there's some pretty good movement today, almost all green on the front page. So that's cool to see. Some altcoin life popping up. Pancake Swap been rallying really hard. Don't know anything about Dodo token. Is it even on TradingView? Probably not. It's some wrapped thing. Okay, whatever. All right, let's stick with Mama Bear and the basics for now, because it is cold as shit in my house. Dude, it was like 40, it was like 35, 40 degrees the other day, because they just had the power off for, it was like almost the whole day. Then they turn it on for like an hour, and it's like, dude, that's not even enough to do anything. Pretty crazy. Anyway, altcoins taking off here, looking really good, just mooning it up, until this gets even back below this other 420 billion area, then the party is on. Alt season, I guess, is what a lot of people like to call it. Vol is low. That's interesting. We're getting a 0 read on the 3-hour BTC. Let's see what we got. This is kind of fresh look for me. Haven't been able to look at charts much, so it's still riding the trend line, still kind of riding the EMAs. Doesn't look super terrible. Looks like we're approaching the 55-ish thousand target. Not a huge surprise. Oh, this has just been super bullish. Let's see if the daily bearish divergence is still present. It is. It definitely is, and it needs to get all the way back up to 90-ish to erase that. So that's a lot of work for the bulls to do. This is interesting, though, that this is the first daily bearish divergence on like a good time scale, pretty much since this whole rally started back sub 11,000. So that is definitely noteworthy, but right now that's not going to be playing out until we break this trend line, and kind of depending where it happens, we'll have to kind of pick the area from there. But let's say if it happens anywhere in the next couple of days, obviously this first target in the upper 48,000s, around upper 40,000s, around 48,000 would be a good spot. And but if it breaks this trend line, I don't think that would hold. I think coming down to this, back into this range from low 40s to upper 40s becomes very likely, and probably even down to the 377 or 200, which is really only about to 40K. So let's look at daily. Daily looks pretty damn good though, except for that bearish divergence. But DMI, everything looks nice. Let's look at weekly, how the week close. Week closed real strong above that whole range too, so that's pretty damn sexy. Lots of support at about 47, 48,000. So above that, I don't have any reason to be bearish on this formation at all. We are getting the volatility flash, so that's interesting, and we're getting it at the top end of a range. And we haven't had a 0 read on the 3-hour since all the way back here at 10,600. So definitely noteworthy that we're getting one right now at the very top of the range with the bearish divergence on the daily. That might be a little bit of a clue, but we'll see what happens. BTC futures, oh, they've been flagging on the 3 hour. And when was the last time that happened? See if it coincides. Looks like it does. No, it's actually even lower. That hasn't happened since 9,000 all the way back last summer. So, and since we're at the top end of the range, that is definitely noteworthy. Daily has the bearish divergence as well on Bitcoin. And so you gotta be a little bit cautious. I'm definitely a little bit skeptical of some of these moves. I do think it is likely, though, that we do get up into the upper 50s, maybe even up to 80K, and make super stretched out readings on the RSI and stuff, and the DMI and all that. But what was the weekly read on RSI here back then? 91. So we're definitely up there on that. About the highest reading on the futures that it's had. Yeah, there's the volatility looks like it's going to be coming in here real soon. So that is very noteworthy. That is very, very noteworthy. Keep an eye out. Watch this trend line. If this trend line breaks, and especially if you just want to keep it more simple, 48,000. But I like this trend line because we could just kind of ride up it, and then, 48, it'll change. Like 48,000 is good now, but if we start riding up it all the way to 50, 60K or 55, 60K, then 48 is pretty low, and it'll have to be adjusted depending on how it gets there, if it does. But right now, that daily divergence and this kind of slow drift up, and my friends literally had their screen open showing their P&L when I went to their house yesterday of their Bitcoin position, and I thought that was very interesting. So they're not really financially, I mean, they kind of are in finance or whatever, they make a couple of trades, but like that's I'm gonna digress on that. Hold on and renege that. No, they actually don't really know anything about finance and trading. And so that it was funny. I walked in there yesterday and was like, oh, damn, it's like that. Y'all have it up on the screen and you're just watching it. And then they're trying to be like, oh, what videos do I need to watch? How do I need to... Their peak interest is kind of what's happening. They're like, oh, how do I need to, I'm looking at different stock guru guys and market stuff, and I'm just like, oh shit. All right, here we go. Alrighty, let's see. Just plugging in my phone while I got power, just juicing it up. But a little bit concerning with the volatility flashes up at the top, and also the bearish divergence still present. Has a lot of work on the daily to get out of that. Ethereum just grinding up, probably going to that 2K level we were talking about. Had a little bit of fake out right here. Bears really tried to get it right here. You can see on DMI they got dominant for about a couple of days after this dump. But they could not push through to this low right on this test of this candle. So, yeah, the bulls are defending that pretty nice on Ethereum. Ethereum, just same as Bitcoin, just riding up this line. Anything above 1840-ish looks great. All right. EMAs are even opening up on this. I mean, holy crap. Ethereum actually kind of looks like it's going to be... And this, I mean, it looks like it's going to 2,000 pretty much like today or tomorrow. Would not be surprised. Yeah, I mean, this looks really good. Let's see if we have daily bearish divergence on the oscillator here. We actually don't have textbook Class A divergence on RSI because we don't have a below 50 break on here, which is the real super technical way for RSI divergences to be true. I mean, so that is very interesting on Ethereum. Wow. And I think we talked about this the other day. I mean, you can kind of fib these out, but really when we're in this blue sky breakout stuff, it's pretty much going to be 2K and then every $200 from there. is going to be about the targets, just psychologically. And that even kind of lines up, too, with some fibs from, oh, crap, where did I do it? I think I did this bigger sell-off right here. Yeah, the 1.6 is around a little bit over 2. So I'm just kind of watching 2, 22, and 24, kind of the next targets at the moment. Wow, yeah, Ethereum looks pretty damn good. Let's look at futures because there's probably more data. Finally getting the first hashes of the 55. Yeah, wow. Shit, Ethereum looks pretty damn great. Oh, this is interesting on Litecoin, though. So Litecoin's come up to this first target we were looking for around mid-230s. So we've hit that. Kind of taken a little bit of a break. If you zoom in, though, you see that we've broken this trend line and tested underneath it and is getting rejected so far. So that is very interesting. Looks like 240 is real serious overhead supply right there. We really need to get a few 3-hour candles or a daily closing over that 240 to get this party going. Again, it doesn't look as great. Let's see, daily. Daily looks better on RSI though for resetting that bearish divergence because it is on Litecoin too. Man, but this speed line is just so aggressive and getting rejected after testing below it. Yeah, so sub 240, probably risk is a little bit to the downside right now. Let's see, but really, shit, anything above. What kind of drop is that? It's like 20%. Anything above, 200 is probably good, but ultimately it goes down to like 180-ish. Is kind of where that's going to be holding support. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of resetting that bearish divergence, which Bitcoin is not doing. Bitcoin's is still very intact on that. All right, XRP. Getting rejected right at that damn horizontal that we've been watching, literally to the fucking penny pretty much. Breaking this trend line too. Bulls better step it up. They lose 46 cents again. It's probably going to get pretty ugly on Ripple. Oh, let's go. Yeah, this is kind of rounding out a little bit. Yeah, Bulls need to step in pretty soon to keep this from falling. It does look like it kind of wants to test back here in the mid 40-cent range. Dot looking all right, just kind of drifting up. It did break the intermediate or the shortest term speed line here. You can see though, like we were talking about in that last video, whenever these break, you can target pretty much immediate action to the next one, and it pretty much filled that to the T. And now this top one's even acting as resistance. So it looks okay. Any kind of, let's go to daily. Any daily close back below like 29 bucks. And definitely anything below this medium-term trend line, I would start to be real concerned on it. And that would probably bring us down back into this cluster, lower 20s, if that did happen. ADA actually looking pretty good from this little bounce here. Did break out of the channel. Now we're coming back to test these previous highs right under $1. Yeah, grinding up to 10 simple on the daily. I mean, that does not look bad. Even getting rejected on DMI. Yeah, this looks pretty good on ADA. And you got the EMAs opening up. Anything back below like 85 cents or 83 cents, I would be a little bit concerned. And you don't have DMI dominant on the low time frames on the 3-hour. So I'd like to see that get back up in the mid 20s. But any close back over 96 cents on a 3-hour is probably getting us to $1. And we'll see what happens from there. Linky. Looks a lot like Dot's chart. Just same thing, going up these trend lines. The market's making it real easy right now. It is kind of making a little bit of a distribution pattern here, though, on the 3-hour. So that's interesting. You kind of have this little descending triangle type. That's really sloppy, but whatever, you kind of get the point. It's like this, right? It is kind of making a descending triangle there. So anything back below 29, 30 bucks, and definitely below this horizontal, I would look for a move. Let's see what this measured move would be. Damn, all the way right back in the middle of here, back to $25. which is its IPO price, so that makes sense. It's got good confluence. So any break of this trend line probably gets us to 25. Oh yeah, got a phone call. I'm gonna take that just really fast, just in case. All right, a little break there. Sorry about that. Just my mom out there looking for some stuff. But yeah, this pattern not too great on Link. I don't like that. It's not sexy. Ooh, this is kind of distribution-y looking too on Bitcoin Cash. If you invert this, this really looks like a nice rounded bottoming formation. So the bias buster, flipping the chart over. It's like, oh, would you short this or buy it when the chart is inverted? I don't know. Sometimes it helps to do that. But if I was looking at this inverted, I would look for this move to actually break the ice line here in the trend line. But this is actually what it is in regular chart formation. Did reset the oscillators for the bearish divergence though, so that's nice. Better than Bitcoin's doing. But these lower time frames on some of these coins aren't looking too hot. Any break of this trend line is getting us to the 300 and 200 exponentials, almost most certainly. And so that's a 28% drop, which isn't that much in crypto. I mean, they do 30% drops all the time. All right, going through, trying to go a little bit faster here because my power just might be zapped. Looks okay. BSV's chart actually looks all right, kind of consolidating. It does kind of have that pattern that the other three we just looked at had. It's I want to be biased here. Yeah, it's still kind of descending triangle kind of action. Its support levels though are not as far around, like to the 200-ish levels, about 15-ish%. The daily looks better on this one, but it looks like the 3 hours are showing a little bit of exhaustion. Anything back below 225, this is probably definitely going to 200 at minimum. But any close back above the 260 on this time frame probably is going to get us some new highs. EOS. So this pattern looks better than the other ones that have descending triangles. It's kind of rounding out here. You can see that we got evens there. No, not really great divergence. But almost every chart looks the same. So crazy. As long as it's above 440, it's all right. Any close above $5, this probably goes back and tests 550, and then maybe we get continuation after that. Lots of overhead supply though around 550. As you can see, the rejection after hitting that target we were looking for from these looking left from all this business. If that supply can get taken out though, let's go weekly, then we probably are looking to hit around 780. Maybe like 750-ish around there would be the next target. XMR actually looks really good. This is a nice chart. XMR looks great above 240. No problems with XMR's chart. Daily looks nice. Good volume on it. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, wow, look at this. Finally catching up to the rest of the market. pumping it up pretty hard here in the last couple weeks. There's going to be a lot of resistance around this mid 300 level. That's probably the next target if we can take out 275 again. Zcash. Zcash actually has a better chart. This is kind of a reaccumulation pattern right here. Did break the speed line, you can see, and this trend line cross is where all the resistance is happening. And trend line cross is just where two major trend lines are crossing, like right here. You can see 172, 170, mid 170s is providing lots of resistance. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one, though. But now, all right, but yeah, anything above, like if it just hovers above this 165 zone, this actually looks pretty good to make some new highs. Maybe targeting this horizontal we've been looking for at about 260. So back below, I'll zoom in a little bit. Back below 120. And what was this weekly 200? So 140. Back below 140, I'd start to get pretty concerned on Zcash. Dash has been running real hard. Dash looks great. Nice reaccumulation pattern right here, kind of like Zcash, but looks even better. It's already breaking back out. This thing looks really good above 275. No issues at all. And a target on this we already have laid out at about 550. So big potential run possibly coming in that. Oh, yeah, nice. Getting bid up off that. This was the last hope. The mid-90s seems to be the good sat area for Doge. And it did get a nice little bounce off of that level. This is pretty much the line in the sand. Multiple daily closes down here would probably be the end of that Doge run. But this looks pretty good. Nice 3-hour candle breaking back over this trend line. I mean, what do we got? A 15% dump or pump. This has the makings of it coming to retest at least up here to about 7 cents or so. You know, another 20%. We'll see if that gets some continuation. It's got a lot of work to do, though. So maybe Elon can tweet a few times. Pump it up. All right, traditional markets, and try to go through these. Pretty good resistance forming right here on the 3-hour. And we're about to get all the EMAs opening up to the downside possibly tomorrow. We might see that come to fruition. Lots of support though, right? Like right below it though at 38.50. So anything 38.50 and up looks good. And re-breaking this trend line to the upside ultimately at like 29.40 probably gets us up into this red box zone in the lower 4,000s. NASDAQ a little bit deeper of a pullback. Ooh, and it's actually about to get the EMAs all opening down. The only problem is when you see the 200 and the long-term ones right underneath it, that's not the best signals there. Usually we like to see them in chronological order, which the EMAs would have to be, the long ones would have to be on the upper side of this for that to be the case. Yeah, NASDAQ still looks okay above 13.3. Not really too concerned. Although we do get another close below this wick, we probably will go test it. And then see what happens from there. So a little bit of pressure. Dow just really, really sideways. Dow actually doesn't look as bad. Yeah, Dow actually looks kind of good. It gets back over 31.5. Shit, it's probably going to run. Anything, same level. Dow's been on the same freaking level for like a month now. Not quite, but feels like it. It's only been 2 weeks, but whatever. 31. 2-ish is the line. If that breaks, we probably test right in here in this range. Mid 30,000s, and then we'll see. Ooh, Russell's getting pretty aggressive here on this sell-off. That's interesting. Russell kind of looks like it wants to... Hold on, let's zoom in here. Yeah, Russell actually looks like it wants to come back and test down here at 2160. And then we'll have to see what happens after that. But yeah, Russell's looking kind of bad. VIX bouncing off of the 20 closed, literally closed on 20 on the dot. I don't know if I've ever seen that. It immediately bounced back up. So the market's like, hey, no, we ain't out of the woods yet. Yeah, VVIX agreeing with this pumping, which we were talking about that too, how VVIX was going up and VIX kept drifting down. That's kind of odd. That only happens like 15% of the time. So now we actually have the EMAs all the way opened up to the upside again on VVIX. So VVIX is saying there's some volatility coming in. That's interesting. Oil pumping, pamping, giving it a little bit up today. Get a little volatility flash on the daily. That hasn't happened since all the way back over here on January 18th. Had a little dump, but then ultimate continuation for the next 6 months. Maybe something like that could happen. Let's see, weekly, anything can happen, right? Weekly looks pretty damn good still, though, above 57, 58 bucks for coming up to this trend line. I don't see anything really stopping it from there. EMAs look great. 3 hours getting a little bit confused, but we'll see if we can reset anything back below this big body candle here, which is 58 bucks, the 58 handle. Then I'd be a little bit concerned on that. Bonds, kind of trying to get bid up down here, but they've been hit pretty hard. Let's see. We do have a little bullish divergence, like low class C bullish divergence on this guy. So maybe we get a little pop here. Anything back below 163 and a quarter, it's going to get real ugly again for bonds. Yeah, and you just had this opening. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about earlier. When you have that all opening up, like down over here, it was even happening with the retest, and just below in chronological order from the longer terms, or from the shorter terms to the longer terms. Sometimes it's actually easier just to look at it this way, right? So they're opening up, bam, bam, in order. So a lot of pressure on bonds. I guess they're not liking the, let's see, where is it at? I know I got it on here somewhere. They're not liking this rally in yields, I'm assuming, is what that's probably from. Yields coming up. They're pumping good, guys. This is interesting that the dollar isn't really running that much with this. But you don't want to see yields go up a lot like this, especially in this environment. It's not great. Oh, gold, and it's been real brutal with gold. It's at its last line of defense here with this horizontal we've been watching for a long time. Had one bounce off of it, led to a failed breakout of the trend line. Fast opposite move. I mean, yeah, this isn't looking great for gold. Yeah, I mean, any daily close below this level, I mean, we have to look for low 1700s and then kind of just see what happens. There is a lot of business here for about 3 months between 1680 and like 1760. So probably can chop around here. There's definitely some demand. Let's go look at this one. Oh, not that one. Yeah, so there's definitely some demand here. There's a little bit of a node, volume node on volume profile, which is these bars on the right. You can see lots of supply right here where it kept getting rejected too in the 1960s. Yeah, gold kind of looks shitty. There's no way around it. And the best way I like to look at gold is on a 2-day. Damn, we're starting to get EMAs opening up. Rejected from Mama. Rejected from 1876-ish. I mean, it's not looking too good. No, it's not. I almost kind of want to buy some down here, though. No. No, can't do that yet. Although, shit, it's right on this trend line. Maybe I'll try to look for an option position that I can put on for that. It has a little bit lower risk. Because with this long-term EMA right here, the 377, that's going to give a little bit pressure for the harder for the bears to really smash through that, especially with this business all over here for 3-4 months. So there's definitely some demand there. So this might be an interesting spot to maybe I'll think about scaling in to some longs. Silver still looks okay, being way stronger than gold. Bears trying to creep in on the 3-hour medium time frames, but ultimately the daily's better way to look at this, in my opinion. And as long as it's staying above 26.5 or so, this looks all right. And ultimately this trend line that it's on as well, and it's not too steep either. That's a good angled trend line. Yeah, maybe we're about to come test it though. It does kind of look like it wants to come down here and test that area, and then we'll see what happens after that. Platinum just running again. Nice run on. Been very bullish platinum for the since this consolidation earlier in the year. Just looking great. Just having follow through. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this chart. Medium time frame does have a little bit of a topping pattern. Any close back below 1220 probably gets us back to these EMAs. But on the daily and definitely the weekly chart, these look pretty good. All right, oil. What was oil? Did we skip oil? No, we did oil. We did that. All right, I think that's about it. Got some big movers here. Raven still rallying. Bancor has actually been around for a while. Let's go look at their. Let's go look. Holy moly! What the hell? Well, Bancor is getting it in here. Just super rallying. That is pretty wild move right there. Let's see if we got a cleaner chart. Wow. Just last 2 days, 61%. Well, Bancor it is. Look at this nice, awesome basing pattern that almost everything had. Opening up EMAs right here. I mean, didn't even see this on the radar. You can't catch them all, though, so it's all good. Wouldn't be touching this with your ex's money, though. Yeah, this is way too vertical. I mean, look at this damn line. Look at this. It doesn't really get more vertical than that. You gotta be careful with stuff like that. Yeah, could it go up another 60%? Absolutely. Could also go down 60%. It's like 50-50 at this point. Oh, Phantom. Yeah, just some of the guys that have been running pretty good. The only one that's sticking out probably is that Bancor. And maybe this Venus thing. What's Venus? Don't know anything about that. Venus pumping real hard. Wow. Same thing though. Look at these trend lines, y'all. This is beast mode, man. These are beast mode trend lines. And that's like the secondary one. Look at this one that it's been making here. Yeah, these are real aggressive. These are almost always met with just as aggressive downside. Don't forget that. Pretty wild. All right, let's see. Oh, let's go look at some weed stocks. What have they been doing? I just haven't caught. I've been like out of the loop for a while. They're probably taking a hit. Yeah. There's some that are up. TRTC, butter lettuce guys. Zine. Oh, Zine getting murder fest the other day. Kind of basing though here. Anything back below 520, probably let go of this with a quickness. Pretty decent chart. This is actually a pretty decent chart on Alteria. This is like all the smokers. They own like most of the big cigarette companies. Oh wait, that's what was going on. It wasn't in my log. Yeah, coming up, maybe this is actually setting up to be a pretty good chart on a weekly. I like this formation, and we're getting pressed into the trend line that goes all the way back to summer of 2017. So this is very significant. I'm actually going to put an alert on this guy. MO crossing up the trend line. Yeah, because I want to know if that happens. This is actually a pretty sexy looking chart right here on the weekly. How about the daily? Yeah, daily actually looks really good. Here we are getting opened up. If we can stay above $42 for another couple weeks, we'll get all the EMAs pointing up. And if we break across the trend line with these EMAs still pointing up, this is going to turn into a really good looking chart. So I need to put that on my watch list. Green. All right, looking nice. How about oh, Blackberry's getting murdered. I've been wanting to re-enter on Blackberry. Way before all this stupid hype. I was trading it back in here, but I sold it all on this pump. But see, I missed out on some fat tendies right there. Ooh, look at Tesla. Tesla not looking good. Last time we were talking about it, back over here, this candle was kind of looking like it was in trouble. Looks like now 820 is major resistance on that. Let's zoom in a tad. Yeah, Tesla's not looking good. This is a pretty bad looking chart. Any daily closes back below 740. And this is probably going to get some pretty fast momentum. I wouldn't be surprised to see a test. Maybe a quick stop at around low sixes. But if it broke that structure, we're probably looking for a retest of this zone here. Because I bet you there's not that much. Yeah, look at this volume. It didn't look like it from the chart. So yeah, look at that. Right at 600-ish. And below, I mean, yeah. So man, volume profile agreeing with what I was just saying there. Yeah, volume profile is kind of like a cheat sheet if you need to use that. Once you look at like a lot of charts for way too long, you can kind of like start seeing that in the candles. But yeah, this is a good cheat sheet for I mean, if you haven't looked at as many charts as some people like myself. I love charts. It's like crack to me. Never done crack, but I heard stories. But yeah, one little bounce here, probably in the low sixes if this gets going. But look, there's nothing stopping it from going there. And I would probably just assume like a small bounce, maybe up to lower sevens, and then ultimately longer term testing back all the way down here, sub 500. So that's a pretty interesting chart on Tesla. That's not sexy. Come on, Elon. Just talking about Dogecoin too much. Not that big movers in nat gas, which is surprising given these mega winter storms. How about the tankers? Nope. Wow. Huh. Wouldn't have guessed that. Well, clown world's pretty wild. Man, financials look pretty damn good. Wow, and all-time highs the last couple weeks. Holy shit. Staying above $30 looks great on those. All right, SPAC'd. There's some SPACs I'm just watching. Oh, damn, that one's nice. Very nice. The warrants are taking off more than the damn. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah, nice little pump here. All right, sweet. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm probably going to lose power and I need to go help do some stuff in these unprecedented times. Fuck, I feel like that's like what everyone says now. I'm tired of these unprecedented times. Hey, all these northern states are laughing at us right now, so whatever. It'll be done. It'll be like 70 in 3 days, and everyone will forget about it and be like, damn, why were we freaking out? 75 now. All right, wrap it up. Final thoughts. Bitcoin struggling a little bit. Better not lose this exponential on here, and we are losing the momentum on DMI too, so that's not very sexy. Don't like that. Bearish divergence still in play. Litecoin did erase its bearish divergence though, but Ethereum and Bitcoin still very much have it present on the RSI textbook style. I wouldn't really look for that to play out, though, in a dramatic way until this trend line's broken. If that trend line does break, then I would be looking for that bearish divergence to definitely play out and probably get us at least back to the lower 40s into this range before we kind of launched back into them. We never were there before. But as we launch into the 50s, I'd look for probably a test back into this range, and then we'll have to reassess there. But still looks okay. Volatility is flashing, though, up here. That is 0. So vol is coming in, and it's around the corner. It's coming around the corner when she comes. VIX also showing a little bit of stuff just to kind of It's trying to open back up and build up. VVIX definitely looks like it wants to have another pop here. With this massive, like one of the fastest decays in VIX in a week, I wouldn't be surprised if that was just like a setup for another massive pump in the VIX too. So that VIX definitely loves to do that. If you don't know, you can kind of just look at this chart. It pumps and dumps all the time. Dogecoin is having a nice bounce here. If it stays above halfway of this body candle, ultimately about 5.3 cents, I think this is set up pretty damn good for some possible continuation. Finally breaking this trend line that it's been respecting for a while. We're getting back over the 3-hour exponentials. Also, it has regained dominance on the DMI. It is finding resistance right on the mama, though, this purple EMA. So that's a little bit concerning. Any closure on the 3-hour back above this 6-cent level, I would probably look for a run up to low 7 cents, and we'll have to see what goes on from there. But this is set up as a nice little liquidation, kind of get all the weak hands out. It's 44% down. Even on the daily DMI, you're starting to get the rejection from the bears getting into the neutral zone. And if this kind of starts curling back up and gets back above 25 and bulls take over, Doge might start making another crazy ass run. So that might be nice for you Doge lovers out there. All right, I'll be signing off now. Store some water, stay warm, all that fun stuff. Try to get it in. Don't be afraid to talk to neighbors. People are very helpful in times like this, for the most part. And I'll be signing off. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, hopefully. The power's going good. I think it will be. It seems like we're on the ladder into this. We've had power most of the day, so it's just now about thawing all our water out so we can get water back. But it's all good. Barely happens. It's been since like early 80s since we've seen something like this. So, not a big deal. But maybe it will be happening more often because we have been going through a cooling cycle, a solar cooling cycle, a minimum, whatever they call it. It's been happening probably the last like 10 years or so. So maybe we will have a little bit cooler weather for this decade. Hey, that's okay. Just get a little bit more prepared next time. We'll be all good. All right, much love. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Hopefully. Stay safe, all that fun jazz. Peace.